Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 11 fantasy football starts and sits for the Thursday night football game between the Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who you should have in your lineup and who you need to sit. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit that drop. Hey everyone, I am Justin, that is Kyle, and this is the Fantasy Football Upside. Thanks very much for stopping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Hopefully the waiver wire episode that we just dropped yesterday was kind to you all. Definitely check it out if you have not yet. You definitely want to check out some of those in the corner or in the description below. And today we're hitting you with Week 11's Thursday night football matchup. It's the Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks. So we have two elite quarterbacks going against each other. Kyle, what you got right before we hop in here?
It's only one defense playing though. There's only one defense.
That's true.
Yeah. One of them's not they're staying home. All right, guys. Yeah. Click that subscribe button if this is the kind of content that you like. And if you want to win a fantasy football championship, we are there to help you do that. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. We answer questions. We try to answer every single one until you're satisfied that we've given you the help you need, given you all the information to help you make the right decision. So make sure you click that bell as well as the subscribe button. That way you are notified every time that we upload a podcast. We do that 5 times a week. So we get you through everything you need to know. We are always asking, do you need assistance? And hey, you comment down below, we'll answer it. We'll answer it. We can't guarantee that we're right. We're not coming back from the future and giving you all of the reports on what's occurred in fantasy football land. Lord knows we would have better ideas than that. But that's what we got. So if you have a question about who to start or sit in Week 11, feel free to drop that comment below. If you're asking about who to pick up, who to drop, that sort of stuff, we can help you with that too. So let's dive in headfirst into the shallow end and get into Thursday night football, Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and take Arizona off the top here.
Go for it.
And you know what? I've got like half the team start, half the team sit. So Kyla Murray, imagine that. He's a start. It's going to be a great matchup. This should keep Kyler Murray on pace for the tons of points and yards that you've become accustomed to if you have Kyler Murray on your team. And so, fire him up. You knew you were going to. You don't need my help to tell you to do that, right? Kenyon Drake.
Analysis.
Yeah, hashtag analysis. Kenyon Drake is this is a decent matchup. Not going to be a great one. He's not going to produce at a top level for you simply because the QB and the wide receiver are going to dominate this matchup. But also because it's Kenyon Drake and he seems to sort of just peter out, it seems.
He's
right?
just there.
He's there.
Yeah.
Chase Edmonds could be a flex for you. It kind of depends. These two are splitting time a little bit. Drake wasn't a full takeover when he came back this last week. And Chase Edmonds did get some work. So I think you could flex him if you have him, if you need to. My hope would be that in week 11 of a season, you've got it kind of figured out as far as your flex goes at this point, and you're not having to make dart throw plays like Chase Edmonds, who's at best the running back 2 on his own team. He's not likely to finish as a running back 2 for you. So that upside is severely limited. And being that we're called fantasy football upside, what are we looking for? We're looking for that upside. DeAndre Hopkins. What do you think I'm saying about DeAndre Hopkins?
You know what? Going on a ledge here. I think you should start him.
Yeah. He's got real potential to turn up as a wide receiver 1 this week. He's also got real potential to finish as the wide receiver 1 this week. And he's gonna throw down the marker on Thursday night and say, "Hey, rest of the league, come catch me." Right. And I don't know if anybody's going to be able to. I mean, nobody else is playing against Seattle this week. So, I mean, arguably Arizona's offense isn't either. That you could say that. Why? Because that secondary is the worst. Oh, yeah. All right. Christian Kirk, I'm going to toss in as a wide receiver 3, hopefully wide receiver flex play instead of a 3 so that you have a little bit extra depth. We do lean more towards starting running backs in the flex just because we think there's a better floor for those guys. But against Seattle, start them.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit Larry Fitzgerald. I just, him and Isabella are just not going to get enough for you to warrant putting them in, unless you're talking about a multi-flex league that's just super deep benches and you're scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of situation. And I'm not going with either tight end either. This is not a terrible matchup, but Max Williams and Dan Arnold, neither is a really a play.
Yeah, Williams.
I was going to say, I think Williams is out for the season. Yeah. So I don't think that you can do much there with either of those guys, because this is going to be DeAndre Hopkins and Kenyon Drake and Kyla Murray all night.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Seattle. What are they going to do to try to stay in this one?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start Russell Wilson. That's another shocker there.
Shocking.
But this is coming off of a couple subpar games, at least for him. Back-to-back games against the Bills and Rams. So his turnovers were a little fluky against the Bills in that game, but the Rams definitely gave it to him. They put a lot of pressure on him, and he turned it over the ball a few times. So, but I'm looking for a shootout here. We kind of mentioned how bad Seattle's defense is. So Russell Wilson's going to have to throw him back into these games. So I think that's what's going to happen this week. So definite starts. Now, running back. This is where it really gets interesting here for the Seattle Seahawks, because there's so many injuries, so many moving parts here. Chris Carson, he may not be ready yet still. So his foot injury has definitely kept him out a lot longer than, I don't know, say Pete Carroll said previously, because I mean, when Pete Carroll talks about players, he is the worst, and he was insinuating that he was only going to be out for a game, and this is going on game number 3 if he sits, but if he plays, he's a must start. And that just rolls right into Carlos Hyde. Just on Monday he said, well, Carroll said Carlos Hyde is ahead of Carson going into this. What the heck does that mean? He's a little ahead of him. We don't know what that means, Coach. But
I'm surprised that you're able to keep all these names straight. All 3 of them have names that start with CAR, like Carson, Carlos, and Carroll.
I'm trying here. I'm stumbling just a little bit, as you can tell. But, I mean, Carlos Hyde's been out with a hamstring injury. And we all know when it comes to hamstring injuries and running backs, and a guy that has shown that he can't play through much, he's a better player than I am, but still, it's hard to trust him. So he would be – I don't know if I could even start. You're really desperate if he is the only active running back. And that rolls right in. If both of those guys are out, Alex Collins, another C, coming out of nowhere. He was he's probably on his couch last couple of weeks, and he came back last week and then this week 10, but he put up 11 carries, 43 yards and a touchdown, and he handled most of the workload, 11 carries out of 13. So he'd be a decent running back for you if both those guys are out.
Yeah.
But sorry, took a long way to say this running back room is really hard to determine right now. So definitely check out the practices for Wednesday and what the designation is going into Thursday's game.
Yeah, well, I think that if you have either Carlos Hyde or you have Chris Carson, that the caveat here is to pick up Alex Collins. He is almost certainly available in your league.
Yes.
You need to have him as your backup for right now. And you're just hopeful that you end up with one of the running backs for this week that plays in Seattle. It's not going to be a great matchup for you, but at least it garners something for you. It covers a hole that you probably end up having because you have Chris Carson or you have Carlos Hyde, and you're relying on those guys and can't right now. So go pick up Alex Collins. I'm sure he's available.
Yeah. And then to wide receiver real quick, Tyler Lockett, he's definitely a start, but you do have to keep an eye on. There's some reports out there that he had a slight knee sprain, so definitely take a look at the practices on that. So this is a super quick turnaround. He's got a knee. He's got a knee. Well, not as much of a knee issue that we were talking about for Pat Mahomes last year. So that's definitely a callback for those loyal listeners. DK Metcalf is a start. Rough game last week. Jalen Ramsey was on him about 70% of his routes. So that was a little bit of a rough go for him. But against this defense, I think this is a bounce back. And if for some reason Tyler Lockett is out, I feel somewhat confident in a David Moore desperation start. That means you're really desperate.
Yeah, that's desperation right there. I think that you could probably do better.
You probably could. Nice little DFS or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you
don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. Just not. It's not worth it, guys.
And we have guys, 4 tight ends, all sits.
Yeah, that includes Will Dissly, by the way. Will Dissly is a sit this week. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us on the Thursday night football matchup. Make sure you get your lineup set. Make sure that you do not, if you can avoid it, put any of these guys into your flex. You need to make sure that this late in the season, you keep your flex open for your latest possible plays so that you can cover any potential injured players by using multiple different positions, not just like running back for running back. Instead, you have a running back go down. You could, if you got your flex open, then you can toss in a wide receiver or a tight end to cover you. All right, so make sure that you keep that open for later in the week and get all of these guys into your regular roster out of the flex spots if you're starting.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Thursday Night Football. We are just moving right along, chugging right along in week 11. Make sure that you hit subscribe as well as the bell so you're notified every time that we upload this podcast. We thank you for being a fan of The Upside. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.